A big lol. So sorry, guys. I accidentally pressed finish. Oh my word. I am so embarrassed. So sorry. I am back on. So I'm going to wait for you guys that joined in to come back. Come back, please, and join me back. So sorry. Welcome to SPOTT Tuesday. This is the live version. I'm not touching any more buttons. I will not touch any more buttons. Thank you, Shola. I accidentally pressed finish. It's my first time of using the laptop. I want to try the laptop. I think we could do more with the laptop, so I thought let me try the laptop. Thank you so much, guys, for joining back in. I'm like, wow, why did I press that? Oh my word. Hey guys, I want us good evening, and honestly, I really appreciate each and every one of you showing up at this time of the evening. How was your day? I want to talk about why our teenagers' communication skills matter. And I think a lot of times when we talk about communication skills, many parents tend to believe or tend to think that we're just talking about the way our teenagers speak. So they can speak English, then they're good, their communication skills are good. But communication skills is actually more than just what they say. It's actually more than just the way they talk. It's more than that. There are two different parts of communication skills that our teenagers must have to be able to excel in. And I'll use the word excel in because there's a lot of competition out there. There's a lot of things going on around there in the teenage world today that it's their communication skill that actually helps them to go through. Shola, my day was fine. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tokumbo, for joining in as well. Thank you so much. So today I want to actually talk to all of us as parents of why the communication skills of your twin and your teen matters a lot. I just took a little break over the weekend to visit my sister, and we had loads of teens and twins all together in one place. So you can imagine what it was like. It was fun, but also I noticed a lot of things, and I'm going to share a lot of things that I know that how our teenagers will benefit from this communication skill. When we look at communication skills, we're looking at the tone of the way they talk. We're looking at their eye contact. We're looking at the mumbling. Sometimes you're talking to a teenager and they're just mumbling and not speaking out. Or we're talking about their dress sense. We're talking about even decisions that they make. Because when you look at communication skills, parents, amazing parents, communication skill has the inner part of your communication skill and the outer part of communication skill. A lot of the decisions that our teenagers make in this day and age, a lot of times, is because a lot of mistakes that they make really stems from them not communicating with themselves better. And these are things they don't teach in schools, you know. And if they don't teach them in schools, and as parents, if we're not teaching them these skills, then where are they going to learn these skills from? And that's the key, and that's what I thought I would share with you guys today. Communication skill is really a life skill. It's a life skill that every tween and every teen needs. If a teenager is not talking properly to themselves, just that internal section first, if they're not talking confidently about themselves to themselves, they are going to go out there and fall under peer pressure like no man's business. They're just going to fall into it. They've got to learn how to speak better to themselves. That's when they're able to say no when peer pressure comes their way. That's when they're able to say, no, I'm not going to join you and do this wrong thing. A lot of times our teenagers, because they don't have those special skills in communicating with themselves, in telling themselves, you know what, I'm going to stick with the right thing and not the popular thing. A lot of times, because they don't have that skill going on, they make wrong decisions. Also, don't be fooled by teenagers who act as if they know it all. A lot of times they really don't, and it's a big cover-up. And also, what I was going to also share with parents, it's true, isn't it? The inner voice is very important, but there are no lectures on how to deal with the inner voice, how to train the inner voice, how to live with that inner voice. It's not part of the curriculum in school. Shola, am I right or am I wrong on that? You know, so it's not part of it. And why, as parents, we have a role to play. We have a big role to play in the communication skills of our children. We cannot leave our children's communication skill to chance. Just not. It's too risky to leave their communication skill to chance. Because if you do, the consequences are enormous. Consequences are enormous. And it starts from them as tweens, from 10-year-olds. If they're not happy with themselves, if they're not happy with the way they look, they will go out there and make horrible decisions. Or they will go out there, I'm talking for our girls, go out there, and the first boy that tells them you're beautiful, they just fall over onto these guys and make wrong decisions. I work with teenagers, so I know a lot and I hear a lot. These are things that can be prevented if we take their communication skills to hand. A lot of time, you're right, Shola says I'm right. Shola is a teacher, exactly. So because the schools have got their parts to play, teachers have got their roles to play, and as parents, we have our roles to play. One of the big things that I know that is going, one of the big things that I know that is actually very, very common now with teenagers is the peer pressure is a lot out there. I mean, we dealt with peer pressure when we were kids, but the peer pressure right now in this day and age is so much more. We can't even compare it to our times. We can't compare it to our times. You see, there's so much access. The internet access that our teenagers are exposed to is unbelievable. When I mean unbelievable, I mean unbelievable. And if they don't have that, if they don't have that great communication skill that we're talking about, if they don't have a coach, really, a parent, you can be a coach. If you don't know how to be a coach, then it's actually important that you start to introduce your teenagers to coaches, and that's where I come to help. I thought I would just share my heart out here with you guys today because I know that I can help. And because I know that I can help, there's no point of me just saying, oh, go and do this, go and do that. But the help is available. The help is available for any parent who wants to take their teenagers. And don't wait for your teenagers to get it all wrong. That's the whole key. Don't wait for your teenagers to get it all wrong. Start to prevent it. Start to guide them. If you can coach them, go ahead and coach them. If not, go on courses or hire coaches like myself. And there are many other people out there who actually coach teenagers. And the great thing now is that we can do it online. That's the beautiful thing about it. You can do it online. Our teenagers love to spend time online. So it's more appropriate actually to have that productive time online as well with your teenagers. So I was just going to share a few reasons why your communication skills for your teen is very, very vital, and I'll just take it from there. And if you're interested in getting your teens coached or your tweens even coached, let me know. Drop me an inbox message, and then we can take it further, because I've produced quite a few courses for tweens and teens that I know would benefit your teenager or your twin. Okay? Yes, it's too risky to let them go and get it wrong. Exactly. It's too risky. Too risky. Exactly. Okay, Shola agrees with me. It is too risky. So one of the things about, when we talk about, I will talk about the inner communication part, and then we'll talk about the outer one, just very, very briefly. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you so much for joining. A lot of times now, with the inner communication, even as adults, we're having to work on it every day. Every day I work on what I'm telling myself, how I'm communicating to myself before I even make decisions. Because a lot of times I have found out that even for me, before I make decisions, depending on how I've spoken to myself, that how I've spoken to myself determines the decisions I make. And it's very, very common with teenagers today. They're getting into a lot of problems in school. Sometimes it's the way they approach the teachers. Sometimes it's the way they talk back to the teachers. You know, and to them, they may think, well, I'm just defending myself, or I'm just saying that I didn't do that, or I'm just saying this, I'm just saying that. But the approach that they use actually puts them in more trouble. And because they get in more trouble, guess what? They get angry about it. They get angry about it, and then from getting angry about it, they get into more problems. And teachers, I know for sure that teachers don't like it when it's a specific teenagers keep getting into trouble over and over again. When these teenagers keep getting into trouble over and over again, even when they don't even do something wrong, it's almost like they get into trouble by association. Do you know what I mean? But because of the past, what they've done before, or what they consistently do, they get into more problems. So communication skill helps them in avoiding those issues in school. So that's one of the reasons. With communication skill, it avoids them getting into problems in school. It actually makes them stand out. You know, a lot of times as parents, we see ourselves focus more on their academics. We want our teenagers to get the A stars. We want our teenagers to get all the A's and all the B's. And to be honest, guys, there is nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with that. But with the academics needs to come the communication skill. With the academics needs to come the life skills, the skills that will kind of make them stand out. Because they can go to an interview today, and I say this a lot when I talk to teenagers. I tell them, I say, you guys can go to an interview today, and all of you that are there in the interview have A stars in maths, A star in this, A star in that. Who are they going to choose out of all of you? It's the person who stands out. It's the person who comes, shakes the hand of the interviewer and says, good morning, how are you doing? When they say good morning to you, say good morning back to them and ask them, how are you doing? You know, you've got to look them in the eyes. These are things that our teenagers don't just know automatically. These are things they don't know. I mean, even when I talk to my boys, sometimes they put their head away. I'm like, no, you've got to look at me. You've got to look me in the eye as we talk. You've got to look me in the eye so that I can hear what you're saying and you can hear what I'm saying. These are things that we teach teenagers to do, because if you don't show them how to do it, they won't do it, because it's not something that happens automatically. It is not an automatic process. It is something that they have to learn. It is something they have to see. If they see you doing it, yes, they learn from that, because we actually model, you know, we actually teach them by the way we do it. If a speaker is speaking today and you're not listening to the speaker and you're just focused on other things, how is your teenager also going to listen to a speaker speaking? Or even in school, how are they going to actually focus on what is being taught to them? So we play a massive role. The work in progress principle is important. Yes, we agree with you. Okay, thank you so much, dear. Thank you so much. Yes. And it is a work in progress as well. They never get it right the first time, and we never expect them to be perfect at it. But it's that continuous teaching, it's that continuous learning that we've got to get them. I've noticed it. I've seen it over and over again. If you don't teach your teenagers these principles in communication, they will not get it. And they will go out there and they have those A stars, and yet you're thinking, but why didn't they get it? Why didn't they get that job? Why didn't they get into that? You know, you would just be asking yourself so many questions. But there's more to academics than meets the eye. There's more to the process. There's more to life than meets the eye. You see a lot of teenagers today, just even their body image as well. They're not confident about who they are. And because they're not confident about who they are, they go out there and make wrong decisions, even in their appearances. You see teenagers that are dressing as if they're so mature, and you're thinking, wow, why go to that level? Why go to that extent? But that's because they haven't communicated well with themselves. Because they haven't communicated well with themselves, they are comparing themselves to other people out there. And guys, we know how horrible it is to start comparing ourselves to people out there. If we compare ourselves to people out there, then we look down on ourselves. And that's the same thing that happens with teenagers. But if teenagers are not coached in the right way, if teenagers are not taught in the right way, that's actually the line that they go through. That's actually the parts that they go through. And they suffer a lot for it. We hear about teenagers, you know, going through constant problems, attitude problems. It's just that they have the attitude. They're reacting to stuff. They're reacting to how they don't feel good about themselves. They're reacting to constant criticisms. They're reacting to people looking down on them. They're reacting to what the other things that they're looking at and comparing themselves with. These are things that they're reacting to. So don't take a teenager's attitude very personally. Don't be very personal. Don't take it too personal is the word, because there's something deeper than that, and it requires more than meets the eye. For our teenagers to kind of get it all together and grow in that process. What you and I want for our teenage boys and our teenage girls is to be very confident, is to be very assertive, but not aggressive. That's key, because when they're aggressive, then they put people off. When they're aggressive, they block their own blessings. So what we want them to do is to learn how to be assertive so that they say no when it's time to say no. So that they say no when it's time to say no, and they say yes when it's time to say yes. A lot of teenagers today, I'll be honest with you, are definitely under that pressure where they don't want to say no because they don't want their friends to feel funny about them. And sometimes I'm asking them, but what are your friends, what has your friends what got to do with this big decision that you have to make in your life? You've got to think about you. You've got to think about what is best for you and not join people that are doing wrong things just because it's popular. And those are the kind of things that we need to keep on encouraging our teens, honestly. And another thing with our teens is, you don't want to tell them off in a way, you don't want to tell them things in a way where you're telling them off. Because when you tell them off, you're trying to advise them and then you're telling them off in that same process. They're not going to listen to what you've got to say. So your approach to how you communicate with them matters a lot. Your approach to how you tell them, don't do this, go this way, it matters a lot. If you don't say it over, if you don't say it properly, if you don't say it in an appropriate way, and this keeps wanting to drop off. If you don't say it in an appropriate way, then they get put off and they don't actually do what it is that they're meant to do. So that's kind of key. They need to hear this over and over again. Yes, they do, Shola. Exactly, they do. And that's where we come into play. We cannot give up. And I think another reason why this communication skill stuff is really, really important is because sometimes we think that because we've told our teenagers something once, then that means they should get it that once. But they need to hear it over and over again, as Shola Alabi has actually said. And Shola, you understand what we're talking about because you're a teacher as well as a parent partner. So Shola kind of gets both sides of the spectrum, and Shola is amazing in helping parents as well get this right, because a lot of times our teenagers are being, I won't say being picked on in school, but they're making wrong decisions based on the way they communicate, based on the way they react. Those are the things that are putting a lot of our teenagers in trouble in school. And if that happens constantly over and over again in school, it's affecting their grades, it's affecting their performance, it's affecting their opportunities to stand out over there in school. So we have to kind of make sure that we're doing the right thing by our teenagers. I'm going to put my link down into the comment box once we finish bear with me, sorry, I know this is my first time of using my laptop, but I'm going to put a link into the comment box for my website where I've introduced and I'm talking about the reasons why coaching, mentoring really does pay off for your tween and your teen. Boys and girls need that constant mentor or coach. A lot of times, yes, parents, you do an amazing job, but a lot of times they also need that extra help, because to be honest, we are saying a lot of times as coaches and mentors, we are saying exactly what you have said. A lot of times we are saying what you have said in a different way, in a way that your teen just gets it and says, okay, you know what, I get it, and they start to apply it, and you start to really notice a lot of differences in the way that they look at things, in the way that they approach things, in the way that they make decisions about things. You start to see a massive difference. But you've got to be into it. You've got to kind of see the benefits of it, and that's why I thought about sharing this with you guys today on the benefits of this communication skill, because I don't like to just call it life coaching, because you know, when I call it life coaching, it seems so generalized. But when you talk about communication covers a lot of things. It covers their discipline, it covers their appearances, their decision making, it covers the way they present themselves to people, it covers the way they talk about themselves and to themselves, and it covers the way they respect other people out there and how they talk to people and how they treat people. If you have a teenager who has got it right in their communication skills, they're not afraid of anybody else. They're not afraid to say no. They're not afraid to make the right decision. They're not afraid to do the right thing, both in school and at home. They're not afraid to go and do that test and know that they can pass that test. They're not afraid to put in the work. They're not afraid to stand out in interviews. They're not afraid to be themselves. They're not afraid to be comfortable with who they are. Those are so, I mean, there's so many benefits of this, getting this communication skills, but these are just a few that I want to mention to you guys. So how can I help? Is the word. Let me just read, let me read some comments. Look at how you. Reinforcement really helps. It does, really does help. And it's a life skill, dear. So it's life coaching. Yes, it is. It is life coaching, but I always have to put that communication into it as well, so that parents and so that even teenagers are more conscious that it affects the way they communicate with themselves and they communicate with others. So yes, it's a big time life skill. One of the biggest life skills is the way we communicate. Even as adults, we are learning and we are growing every day in our communication skills. But if we can get it right with our teenage age, then they actually have more of an advantage as they grow up. So it's very important. So as I promised earlier on, I will share the link to the services that I provide. Actually, I don't want to talk too much about it on the live video. I will share that link, and then if you want to contact me, reply back, and I will send you more information about the services that I do. And it's all online, so they don't have to get out of their homes, and they get to have this real conversation and consistency. It's all about consistency as well. I don't just see them one day and then leave them till the next year. It's very consistent. It's very interactive, and I get to update parents as well. I don't leave you out of the picture. I get to update you as well. So I'll be sharing more of those courses that I have going on for your tweens and for your teens. Thank you so much for joining. And if you've got any questions in any areas in terms of what are you noticing about your tween and teen that you don't know how to handle, or you don't know how to ask them these specific questions that you need to ask them, why are they reacting all of a sudden very funny, there are some questions that you may have. Go ahead and ask me questions. If you don't want to share it in the general comment box, be free to just send me an inbox message, and I'll definitely be out there to help you. As I said, I've got a 17-year-old, I've got a 14-year-old who thinks he's 18, and I've also got an 11-year-old who thinks that she's 16. So I've got it all covered. And then I also have a lot of parents, partners as well, who join me in this process and help a lot. I learn from them as well, and we all learn from each other. So thank you again so much for joining me on this first laptop live video. Thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you that has joined me. And yes, if you're on Instagram, go ahead and follow me on at Fina Chichi. I do share a lot of posts that I share with teenagers. I share on Instagram every day. I think I share more on Instagram about the teens, with things, advices and stuff that I've got for teens, than I share on Facebook. So if you're on Instagram, go ahead and follow me at Fina Chichi, and we will keep going. You've also got Kalade. Oh yes, exactly. Glad. No, thank you so much, guys. I'm glad. Oh, they did. Oh, they watched it as well. Fantastic. No, it's so important. I'm going to be having a session with them just before they head back to school. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll share more information about that as well. But yes, parents, let's get this going, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much again for joining. I hope this was clear, and I hope everything was going. Toby's joining you on Instagram. Fantastic. Good. Because I share these things every morning. Yes, exactly. Fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing him there. Yes, exactly. I'm looking forward to seeing him there. So I will talk to all of you later. Take care. Have a great week. Make it count. Remember that you are the living example of what you want your son or your daughter to be in life. Those characteristics that you want them to show, those values that you want them to have inside them. You are the role model. You are the person that they're looking up to be able to learn all those skills. So go ahead and be your best at all times. I love you. I'm rooting for you all the way, and I'm not going to stop that either. Take care, guys. Bye. Now I can press finish. Now I can go on that finish. rather than go on it at the beginning. Thank you so much for joining, all of you. I appreciate you. If I didn't give you a shout out, I really do apologize for that. But I've seen each and every one of you, and for those that shared the video as well, thank you so much. And for everyone that is going to watch the replay, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. Take care, guys. See you later. Bye.